The film begins with a text discussing a bombing incident in 2017. The text reveals that the U.S. military deployed a massive non-nuclear bomb on a remote insurgent province. However, there's more to the story than meets the eye, and what we're about to witness is the truth behind the bombing. A group of fighter pilots led by Captain Kate is suddenly attacked by missiles. The pilots attempt to protect themselves by deploying countermeasures, but to no avail. One of the missiles strikes Kate's jet, triggering memories of her family at home. Kate crashes to the ground and is rescued by her teammate, but a group of insurgents arrives with their rifles. Kate's teammate advises her to play dead and tries to shoot at the insurgents, but he is shot down. Kate continues to feign death to deceive the insurgents and manages to kill 2 of them. One insurgent charges at Kate with his sword, but he is shot down by her teammate, who still has some life left in him. Kate bids an emotional farewell to her teammate and tries to radio for support, but receives no response. It turns out one of the insurgents survived the fight and is reunited with his other teammates. The insurgents find Kate and attack her with their guns. She returns fire and refuses to surrender despite being greatly outnumbered. Kate fights valiantly, managing to land a few shots, but she runs out of bullets and is forced to retreat into a mysterious cave entrance. To hide from the insurgents, Kate uses one of her glow sticks and explores the cave, which turns out to be a bunker. The insurgents follow her, and tensions rise as Kate tries to evade her enemies. After some exploration, Kate discovers a strange room where she finds a rotting corpse. Confused by this discovery, Kate investigates the room and finds a piece of paper with Russian words written on it. She quickly realizes that this is a testing lab for human subjects, as there are multiple pods containing bodies. Kate finds a portable hard drive and takes it, but the insurgents also reach the lab. They are shocked to see the bodies inside the pods, and Kate uses this distraction to surprise an insurgent. She takes him down and steals his weapon for protection. The insurgents shoot at Kate, causing one of the pods to break and the body inside to fall out. Kate manages to dodge the bullets and finds a vent which she decides to enter. She slowly makes her way through, avoiding the searching insurgents. Suddenly, the fallen body awakens and is revealed to be a deadly monster. It kills one of the insurgents and feasts on his flesh. Meanwhile, Kate is caught by an insurgent, but she uses a flare to take him down and climbs up a ladder. Another insurgent grabs onto Kate's leg and refuses to let go despite her repeated kicks. However, the monster appears and kills him with a single slash. Shocked and confused, Kate runs away and narrowly escapes the monster by exiting the cave, but she is injured in the process. Kate shoots the monster with her rifle, but it doesn't kill it, so she ties a chain around the doors to trap it inside. Kate is confronted by an insurgent nicknamed Beardy, but he quickly runs away after noticing the monster. Kate tries to find her way to safety, but time is running out as her injuries worsen. Suddenly, a team of American soldiers finds Kate and reveals that they were sent to look for her. A soldier with cornrows thoroughly searches Kate's body and confiscates her locket and the hard drive. Kate pleads with the team to leave the province as soon as possible, but the soldiers dismiss her concerns and take her to their camp. Kate meets with the major, and Beardy is also shown to have been apprehended by the American soldiers. Kate tells the major about the Russian bunkers and the deadly monster, but he dismisses her claims as ridiculous. Despite Kate's insistence that what she saw was real, the major mocks her, saying she lacks combat experience. That's when Sergeant Hook shows up and vouches for Kate, but even then, the major refuses to heed Kate's advice. Later, Kate confronts the soldier with cornrows for stealing her locket, but she denies any wrongdoing. The women are about to engage in a muscle wrestling match, but Hook intervenes and orders the soldier with cornrows to return Kate's locket. Hook then reassures Kate that she is in good hands, despite the major's unfriendly demeanor. Kate inquires about Hook, who reveals that he lost 2 of his soldiers in combat due to his own recklessness. The major opens a letter addressed to him and shows signs of concern. This prompts him to call his colonel and report his interaction with Kate. Kate is treated for her injuries by the doctor, and she notices Beardy next to her. Kate asks Beardy to speak up as he also saw the monster, but the doctor informs her that Beardy doesn't speak English. Hook enters the tent and wants to discuss with Kate what she saw in the bunkers. Kate, who has a photographic memory, writes down the Russian text she saw in the lab. No one seems to understand what the text means, but Beardy reveals that he can speak both English and Russian. Beardy translates the text to "do not open" and explains that the Soviets were behind everything Kate saw. Hook argues that the mysterious bunkers would have to be 30 years old if they belonged to the Soviets, and no human could have survived for so long. However, Beardy asserts that whatever is down there isn't human. As night falls, it appears as if the monsters are waking from their slumber and breaking out of their pods. The monsters manage to open locked doors and make their way outside the bunker. It turns out the Major is being given a voluntary discharge, so he decides to use the hard drive that Kate found as leverage against the Colonel. Outside, the soldiers keep watch for any insurgents. But Hook remains suspicious because of what Kate and Beardy told him. Suddenly, one soldier disappears and another spots a monster. They begin shooting at the monsters, but the monsters are incredibly fast and manage to dodge the bullets. A tense sequence follows as the soldiers try to prevent the monsters from breaking into their camp. The Major learns about the attack and orders his soldiers to kill the monsters, but it's going to take more than bullets to bring them down. The monsters eventually break into the camp, and the situation worsens when one of them enters the Major's tent. The Major tries shooting the monster but runs out of bullets, so he attempts to bring out a bigger gun. Another monster breaks into the doctor's tent and attacks Kate. It uses its snaky tongue to strangle Kate, but not to give her a tongue massage. Luckily, Beardy saves Kate by slicing the monster's tongue and stabbing it to death. The situation deteriorates as more soldiers are killed by the brutal invasion, and even the Major struggles against the monster fighting him. Now, Kate joins Hook and the remaining survivors. The team decides to split up to save the Major, and they reach him in time before he's killed. This allows the Major to finish off the monster with his bat, but he is also struggling with his injuries. He wants to be left alone, but is carried by his soldiers to the remaining group. They are attacked once more, but Kate manages to get on top of the monster and stabs it repeatedly. With too many monsters to handle, the team decides to take refuge inside an empty cargo container. Feeling at a loss, the soldiers ask Beardy if he knows anything about the monsters. Beardy recounts the Soviets invading his country and mentions that the monsters also started appearing around that time. He reveals that his father was part of a hunting team tasked with taking down the monsters, but he was killed during a mission. As the sun rises, the monsters retreat, taking all the monster corpses with them. Feeling safe, the soldiers try to devise their next plan. They search the area, find a monster's corpse, and take it to the doctor for examination. The doctor, although not very confident, decides to proceed with the inspection. The doctor notices that the monster's corpse has very sharp teeth, leading Kate to suspect that the teeth might belong to a shark. After further observations, the doctor concludes that the monsters are averse to sunlight, as their bodies might not be as accustomed to UV rays as humans are. The doctor then dissects the monster's body and extracts some of its internal organs. To everyone's shock, the doctor discovers that the monster is humanoid, possessing human organs. This revelation confuses everyone, but then the Major explains that these creatures are hybrids mixed with humans. He apologizes to Kate for doubting her and reveals that the hard drive Kate found contains all the answers they need. The Major explains that the American intelligence has been studying this province for a while, because the Soviets had found a way to integrate foreign DNA into humans. He reveals that it all began in December 1979 when some Soviets discovered an alien spaceship in the Hindu Kush Mountains. The Major asserts that this was the real reason why the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. They needed the alien DNA to integrate into human test subjects. The soldiers are stunned to learn that the Soviet-Afghan war was merely a smokescreen. Now the group needs to find another way to escape as they are running low on fuel. The Major feels guilty for letting his team down. Suddenly, the monster's body reawakens and attacks the soldiers. It grabs Kate and tries to force its long tongue onto her while also fighting off Hook and the other soldiers. Things look dire, but Kate thinks fast and headbutts the monster to free herself. Inspired by her bravery, the Major sacrifices himself by charging at the monster with a hand grenade. After that, the soldiers realize that the monster was using its tongue to read Kate's mind rather than to sense her hormones. Kate suggests that they should blow up the Russian bunkers as she knows their location. The soldiers agree with Kate and decide to free Beardy. However, Beardy doesn't want to leave as he wishes to avenge his father's death. Kate, Hook, and the others come up with a plan to blow up the bunkers using whatever ammunition they have left. Everyone arms themselves and reaches the bunkers where they plant all their bombs. However, Kate drops her locket in the process, so Hook pauses for a moment to return it to her. This allows a monster to grab Hook and take him away from his team. The bombs are ready to be detonated, but Kate receives a radio signal from Hook and decides to go back inside to save him. The soldiers initially oppose the idea, but eventually agree with Kate. They get into a lift, which is operated by the doctor from an army vehicle. However, the doctor's radio catches a frequency alert, warning everyone to abandon the area within the next 20 minutes. The doctor immediately alerts Kate and the others about it, but they decide to carry on, regardless of the danger. Meanwhile, Hook is attacked by a monster that tries to read his mind using its tongue. Hook acts quickly and cuts off the monster's tongue, allowing him to kill the monster. Hook finds the body of a dead soldier and arms himself with his weapons. Kate tries to contact Hook for his location as the team searches for him in the lab. On the other side, Beardy finds more test subjects and identifies them as his people. This leads him to suspect that his own father was also a victim of the Soviet experiments. Kate switches on the lights, leading the team to discover a giant monster resting inside a giant pod. Hook radios Kate so he can reach her, but he is suddenly confronted by a monster. Meanwhile, the doctor is attacked by some of the insurgents who notice him inside the vehicle. More monsters start to hatch, so the soldiers escape and lock the door, but someone needs to stay behind to keep the door shut. The British soldier volunteers to sacrifice himself and convinces the others to run away. Tensions rise as a soldier with cornrows notices another monster and stays behind to fight it. Kate wants to help her, but Hook asks Kate to stay with the team inside the lift. The soldier with cornrows struggles against her opponent but is able to gain the upper hand and kill it with a fire extinguisher. However, another monster shows up and kills her before Hook can make it. The monster starts feasting on its new meal. On the other hand, the British soldier runs out of strength, so he lets go of the door. He charges at the monsters with a grenade, triggering a massive explosion inside the bunker. Hook manages to hide from the blast while all the nearby monsters are killed. The vehicle starts to be dragged down into the bunker as Kate and the others are attacked by monsters piling up on the lift. Meanwhile, the doctor struggles to fight against the insurgents, but he is no match for them. He has to surrender. Beardy faces off against a monster and realizes that it is actually his genetically modified father who soon kills him. The vehicle eventually falls into the bunker. Fortunately, Kate manages to get out of the lift just in time before the crash and is reunited with Hook. Kate and Hook manage to escape from the bunker and kill the insurgents attacking the doctor. The survivors notice a jet nearby, so they quickly get into a car and drive as far away as they can. The jet deploys a giant bomb, destroying all the bunkers and leaving no trace of them behind. Kate, Hook, and the doctor survive the explosion. Kate reveals that Soldier Cornrow managed to hand over the hard drive to her before sacrificing herself. The movie ends with the survivors trying to drive to safety, but they encounter issues with the car.